Hi, I'm Beverly Banov Brown, and today our topic relating to narcissistic relationships is a very, very significant one. Why do I call people who often return to situations where they know that it's very likely a doomed one, that a relationship has almost no chance of being better the second or third or fifth time than it was the first, and yet they go back. They can't seem to resist going back. They feel almost compelled to return, to believe the lies, the promises, the seductions that are going on with their narcissist, their crazy maker, their drama king or queen. I call it the familiarity of chaos. Freud would have called it repetition compulsion. What is repetition compulsion? In its simplest concept, Freud was talking about when a baby, a very young child, a toddler, is unable to filter through any of the information or the vibrations or the messages that are going on around him or her. And they're not able to develop normally because they are in a home that is somehow chaotic in one way or another. Whether it's addiction or marital problems, an absent parent, a parent leaving for whatever the reason for extended periods of time, and so the baby feels abandoned, subtle neglect, benign neglect, actual abusiveness, whatever form it has taken, the baby feels unsafe. The baby gets a message that the baby's not loved. The baby's not able to form a healthy bond with the primary caregivers. And the baby gets the idea that chaos is normal, that negative feelings and vibrations in relationships are normal. They're not. But the baby has no way of comparison at that time, nor does a young child up to 7 or 8 years old. And so, like incredibly absorbent sponges, and we've all been through this to one extent or another, we take in what is presented. Please remember that every single conversation you've ever been involved with, every single face you've ever seen, every single song you've ever heard, everything becomes part of your subconscious mind. And so in those early formative years, the brain literally gets wired to think that the familiarity that chaos has in relationship is going to resonate because it harkens back to those early days. So when you have, and these are the people who are really prey to narcissistic seduction actions the most, when you have somebody come in who's beguiling and persuasive and charming and who promises you unending romance and delight and ecstasy and bliss, the underlying energy is what you're really responding to more than anything else, I believe. The familiarity of that chaotic energy that the person possesses is what's resonating with your early on experience. And so, like heat-seeking missiles, you find each other. People who are codependent, who've gotten this early message of shame, of not enoughness, of inadequacy, none of it's true, and yet they've gotten that message through no fault of their own, often given to them by misguided family members, teachers, clergy, who didn't know any better and were working with the information that they had at the time. We always have to remember, as we learn, hopefully we choose to say and do things more effectively and more enlightenedly, if there is such a word. Anyway, the familiarity of chaos is a very dangerous thing because until you understand who it is that that person is reminding you of, and can say, well, that's a transference, and I don't have to buy into that anymore, your brain is still wired to succumb to their seduction. So the more we can make it conscious, the more you can say to yourself, who does this person trigger in me? Who does he look like? Who does he sound like? Who does he remind me of energetically? Whose mood was similar? A lot of times, you'll get the information. Maybe it was your father, maybe it was your mother, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a brother, a sister, a teacher who was extraordinarily influential in your life. Maybe it was a clergy person who had a very deep impact on your belief system. I've worked with clients who have, when they've come to me at first, been back and forth, the hoovering process, contacted by a former mate, perhaps a husband or wife, perhaps somebody they had been dating, after at times many years, when they've moved on, they think they're over it, and the person comes back and promises them not just the world but the entire universe if they'll only return and give them yet another opportunity. Because they say they've changed fundamentally, it's all different, it's all better, and it isn't. And they know on some level, these clients of mine, they know that they're most likely getting involved in a losing proposition, and yet they say to me, I can't stop myself. 4 times, 5 times, I've gone back to him. I don't even want to go back to him. Not only don't I love him, I don't even like him. And yet when he talks to me, when he dances with me, when he brings me flowers, when he writes me love notes, I can't resist. When I hear his voice, I can't resist. And so what we've had to work on is what is the repetition compulsion all about, and we do a process. And it's a very beautiful and elegant process where I help them to literally reparent themselves. Our parents, could not be there for us every day and night the way they wanted to be. They may have had to earn a living. They may have had business trips. They may have had their own physical problems, emotional problems. They may have had marital issues, family issues, elders who were getting a bit fragile and they needed to give them more nurturing. They may have been pursuing their passions, their life purpose in other areas of existence. Who can be there for us 24/7? We can. And so reparenting is all about how to identify that part of you that is untouched, that is unscathed by life, that is, in its purest essence, your soul. The reparenting process that I do is all about that. It's all about having you become the parent to that wounded little child and give that child the true information that life can be safe, that life can be beautiful, that struggle is unnecessary in most cases, and that you really don't have ever again to be lured by anybody outside of yourself who promises you the world and can't deliver. And that you really actually have a right to marvelous, healthy, harmonious, vibrant relationships with people who are healthy enough to give and receive love consistently in a stable, enduring way. It also, this reparenting process, allows you to, for the rest of your life, differentiate between when someone says something to you and it doesn't feel right and when it does. And what happens is that familiarity with chaos becomes familiarity with peace, familiarity with joy, familiarity with the fact that you have every right in the world to dream your dreams and make them into realities, and that there is inside of you and all around you the energy of life that will never fail you. I'm Beverly Banov Brown, and I hope this helps you to understand why sometimes you may have returned in a pattern to people and situations that didn't feel right, and you knew it, and yet you were feeling obligated or compelled to try yet again, knowing deep inside of you that it was doomed, most likely, and yet feeling powerless to stop yourself. It doesn't have to be that way. That's the beautiful, incredibly wonderful, and freeing news I've come to bring you. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave me a like so I'll know it. And don't hesitate, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Beverly Banov Brown M.S., and look at some of the many other videos I have in my library. Some of them are on radical gratitude, inner peace now, holistic wellness, parenting with heart, mindful parenting, joyful marriage, authentic dating, and there are a few other topics yet to come that I'm preparing videos on even as we speak. So it's a wide variety of possibilities. If you've enjoyed it and you feel other people would be blessed by it, please share it on your Facebook, share it on Twitter or other social media like LinkedIn, whatever you feel guided to do. And if you want to be in touch with me, if you'd like a consultation, I, as time permits, do still practice as a life coach, as an intuitive. I do intuitive readings also. And I'd love to hear from you. I do my very best to answer everyone individually, but it's getting busier and busier, so please be patient and give me some time. Until next time, I wish you great love, wish you peace, and a familiarity not with chaos anymore, but a familiarity with your own beautiful, remarkable soul essence. Don't settle for anything less. Bye for now.